Where I think one of the most destructive things that we built was a hierarchy. And a community is really neat. We're less collective, but we're much more democratic now. And I don't think anybody feels oppressed by the hierarchy. It's really so. And that the hierarchy could be oppressive then. And it was difficult, once you have a hierarchy in place, it's difficult to penetrate it, or, so if I could have changed anything, I would have tried to get ahead of the hierarchy and instead of just either ignoring it or participating in it, if I could say, yeah, well, hold it, we got this hierarchy here, we need to switch that down. We need to move that. We got into it without knowing it. We got into it because inevitably, because you're trying to get things done and everybody's not on the same page, and we had a spiritual teacher with a very strong personality, and we got too reliant on him in some cases, and he got too reliant on our reliance. And so ultimately, it's also there was a little bit of the growing up and getting to the point where you didn't want to ask Stephen if he could do such and such anymore. Maybe you were just going to go and do it. And so there was a little bit of that, and so it was a mutual thing on his part and our part where we had to disengage from that student-teacher relationship and develop a different relationship and still love each other and not be mad about it. And that took a few years, but it's all cool now. I mean, although I know there's still people that, maybe their last memory of Stephen was when he chewed them out for something they did wrong. But, living close with the guy and everything, he's just as sweet and smart as ever. And in no way is trying to reinstate that thing. And if anything, he's relieved to not do that anymore. To evolve, I think it was pretty hard when we went from collective to, oops, everybody's got to take care of themselves, we can't take any new people, no, we're not taking single moms automatically, compared to, how we were like open arms, come one, come all. And psychologically, I think it was a little hard, and I think we got a little hard as a people in that transition, and I think we're just coming out of that in a lot of ways and healing from what was a bit of a divorce feeling, or gee, don't we like each other anymore? Or who ended up with the best, all the goodies after the music stopped, kind of thing. So there was a certain healing process that we have gone through, but we have continued to actually work on that. We have a reunion every year. We get together, we talk about these things. We meet in spiritual kind of environments. We meet in party kind of environments. We have a festival. We talk about our various nonprofits and so forth and so on. So that is a continuing, and we're having a constant flow of people that come through and refresh us and give us new ideas. And we have 4 community full meetings a year where we talk about the various things that that we're doing and trying to do. So I've felt an evolution. I missed the so-called changeover, thankfully. I was happy because it didn't sound like a lot of fun, and it sounded like there were some bad feelings, and some people got hurt by it. And I floated along doing plenty, and and always getting to interact with the best parts of the community. the best parts of our friends and supporters. So that's been, it's been kind of fortunate, but I also feel that gives me a certain responsibility to continue to emphasize that part and build on that and make opportunities for other people to have that, because that is, you want to have something that makes you excited to wake up in the morning and get to go do. And if you don't have that, then keep looking for it, 'cause it's there. And the key is, and we've always said this, the key is your spiritual stuff, your toolbox, your toolkit, because the key is, can we get along with each other? Well, sometimes we don't get along well. What kind of stuff don't we get along about? We have to learn the skills of tolerance, forgiveness, humor. It was always, in the early days, it was like we're up in each other's thing, just really, oh, you said something, yeah, you sounded angry there. Were you angry? I thought I saw you be angry. No, I wasn't. Oh, you're being defensive. So we would sometimes harass each other, and we had to learn how to, hey, get off it, be compassionate. And a lot of our Sunday services was Stephen bringing us back to being more compassionate. I can remember, we had a tendency to be hard on each other and get into fights over meaningless stuff. So it was a constant process of learning, well, that's not really worth fighting over, is it? The key is probably, if there was one most important key, is the ability to forgive each other and really don't get hung up on the small stuff that we get into trouble about and get rived out about. And so if people understand how to climb down off their high horses, and when we get on those places that are uncomfortable for those of us who are on the high horse as well as those below. My wife and I are both on our third marriage, and we both say it took us two to learn. But it's a process of understanding the mechanics of getting along in close quarters and dealing with people's foibles and eccentricities, and living in community is hard in some ways, is harder than maybe being in your box in the suburbs where you don't have to interact with anybody and you don't know anybody's thing, and if somebody dies down the block, well, that's that. In community, somebody dies, it's family, but at the same time, somebody gets married, it's family. If somebody gets born, it's family. So, but you're sharing in the moments where we are still very collective, are at our marriages and funerals and our community parties and meetings and things. We're very collective in those. We're mentally. We used to talk about being in a mental nudist colony where. We share mind. And if somebody here is mad about something, I feel it over here. It affects me. Not like when I lived in Philadelphia, if somebody was mad, who knows who's mad up the street, but I know when one of my friends is mad. But at the same time, if one of my friends is happy, that makes me happy. So you're sharing these things, and everybody doesn't want to share all that stuff. See, so that's, again, it's something to be learned, but the possibilities for doing things and for self-fulfillment and happiness, I think, are also increased in community, in that. I wouldn't trade this life for anything. To me, this is paradise. It doesn't get any better than this.